Thanks for staying with us. So recently, the management of the University of Ibadan, through the Director of Health Service, Dr. Aderonke Ajayi, strongly condemned the rising number of female students participating in egg donation to generate income. The institution stated that while egg donation had offered hope to families facing infertility challenges, it should not be regarded as a steady source of income or a side hustle. Ajayi expressed concern that female students were being recruited and participating as egg donors for in vitro fertilization, often facilitated by individuals, agents, or agencies that that come around to the school. Now, when I read this report was sent in by, I think I was trying to find the organization that actually posted this, because I tried to look for it elsewhere. I didn't see it, but it was the organization, the Diaspora article that published it, and I'll get that article in a moment so that we know the source of this story. But if this is true, this is obviously a source of concern, or a cause for concern for many families and guardians. But you can join the conversation 020163 52013 09024163440. You can also send us messages on X and on YouTube. We'll be happy to hear your thoughts. Would like to go first on this. BC, what are your thoughts on this? If this is indeed true.
Yeah, it's true. If it's indeed true, it's very true. So I heard it a few months back when I had a young girl who was working in capacity of a personal assistant, and I was just getting to know her and asking questions about how she had survived because of her story. And one of the things she told me was that at some point she had to start selling her eggs to be able to pay her bills. And I said, who came to you? I said, in school, that there is a conversation that they have in school. They just tell you, do you want to donate? That many people do it for several reasons, to be able to afford certain things. Some for survival, some for just aesthetics. Maybe you want to sell it because you want to buy clothes. You want to look a certain way. You want to buy wigs. You want to, and it was shocking to me. And I asked, I said, how many have you sold? I said she had done it like 4 times. That the last time she went there, they asked her not to come back again. Then they explained to her that every woman has an amount of eggs that she would release in her lifetime. It's different for different people. That if you exhaust yours, you can never have a child anymore. So that she has done enough, she should not come back there again. That was the first time I was shaking when I finished that conversation. And a few weeks ago, I saw on social media again, somebody came out, this happened in Delta State, I think around Warri or so, was shouting that this is what these girls are doing now. People should talk to their wards, talk to your children, that is all they are doing now, selling their eggs just to be able to buy things, not even meaningful things, just to look a certain way, to appear a certain way, yes. That public perception, social media have to pepper somebody, and they are selling their eggs just for this. It was really scary, and I'm happy that they have spotlighted this for us to even have a conversation. Women... Is it women now, young girls? How do I even begin to qualify them? Yes. Should understand that this is not something you just give out for material things. It's a gift that God has given to you. If you want to help somebody who wants to have a child, that's a different thing. But it should not be your only means of survival. What happens to working with your hands? What happens to working with your brain? When I was in the university, there was a particular girl, I would never forget her. She was training herself in school and taking care of her siblings back home and her aged parents. She would make hair. She was so good at doing Ghana weaving. Like, we will queue up for weeks. Wow. You go and write your name. If you want to make Ghana weaving in 3 weeks, better write your name now because there's no slots. People will write names. She was sending money home. She could work. They had people who were selling clothes. They'll come to Tejo show here, buy those okrika, go back to the university and sell. People were doing different types of hustling to be able to, take care of themselves. Do you have to resort to selling body parts? Because as far as I'm concerned, this is a body part you're selling. You're like hacking yourself for, I don't know.
Let me come to Makarias.
You're totally correct, because I remember a friend of mine that, I was also trying to help. If my mom would say she trained so many people without realizing she trained so many of my friends in school. I was trying to help her. So she said she was doing okay clothes in school. So I went out, packed all my clothes, so many of my clothes, and gave her to sell. She said, Maka, let's do this business. I'll give you small profit. Tomorrow I know see money. But I'm just happy that she used it. She chopped me. She see me as Mugu, but she still found something. So you're totally correct. But unfortunately, legally, this sector is not regulated.
Yeah.
We had this conversation last week with the professional that we brought in.
Lawyer, yeah.
Yeah, with the lawyer. So it's unfortunate and that this is happening. And somehow nature has always made it more difficult for women, you know, because a man will go and sell his sperm every day. He will just be bringing out the thing like this and selling, and there's no repercussion.
It will not finish.
It will not finish. But for women,
we have a number.
We have a number, and we are nurturers and everything. Like PC said, for you to give out your egg, it has to be meaningful. There must be a purpose towards it, not just for hey, for iPhone. And it's so worrisome because it still keeps restating what I always say. What our value system now in 2025? In this generation, like I said, what do we stand for as people? I said, or is it that as in, I don't want to blame the parents because I'm sure that parents are still giving home training. So is it that when they give you the home training, when you get to school, you throw it away? Like what? And even during our own days, when we go to school and we used to do 1 or 2 things, they still caution that my parents, so my family, they still fear, I will not do this one. No. But now it's as if like anybody's just doing anyhow. If it's not drugs, it's selling eggs, it's ridiculous. Right? All these stories, it just sounds...
Okay, let me hear your thoughts, your initial thoughts on this.
You know, before I start, I know sometimes when we hear these stories, you just think that there's just a large number of young Nigerians acting this way. But you know, I've been to a few places recently and there's so many young Nigerians doing right, doing good. So sometimes this is just highlighting a problem. It's not like a widespread thing. But having said that, it's still a very serious issue that we're discussing. And you know, for me, I just wanted to understand this egg donation. It just does not even make sense for me. The process in which to even go through it, you would have to, it takes a while. So it's not like a sperm donation where you go in, you can decide one morning, wake up, let me just go and, you know, they have to be sort of looked at, they're examined, and they're given injections and things like that. So it takes a while for you to go through that. And it has some emotional effect on you, you know, so it takes a lot. And I've heard that when they do this, they get things like 80,000 naira, 150,000 naira per cycle. It does not make sense to me. And per cycle, when they harvest your eggs, they're harvesting between 10 to 20 eggs. So the person that you highlighted who has done it 4 times, let's say they did a maximum of 20.
Oh,
4 times.
At each harvest.
Yes. So I just need, you know, the students to understand what it is that they're doing. You're right also, women were born with the number of eggs that we'll have in our lifetime. So you're not going to have more eggs as you grow older. That's it, you know. So when you do that, they're just so, the implications is just a lot. It's not that you cannot do it, but when you're doing it, make sure. So I'm talking of those who are doing it to help, you know, in fertility, but you have to make sure you're doing it in a situation where your health is being you know, prioritized. They have to prioritize your health. That it's not something that they're asking you to come over and over and over. It cannot be just for the money. You know, you cannot just go there and go in several times just for the money. In fact, these clinics, if they see you come so many times, if they're honest clinics and they're just trying to do this, they will not ask you to keep coming. So first of all, you just know that you're dealing with people that don't care about you, but just the money that they can make from you. And they make so much more from you, and what you're giving is just, you know, you're giving them your life, actually. You're giving your ancestry, you're giving your future generation, and then they give you 80,000 to 150. Also, we have heard of stories that after they have done this, and they leave you with whatever health implications you have. Remember a father who had come online and, you know, his daughters were in school and they realized one was really ill and they didn't understand. She just had this stomach ache, and then they found out that she had actually donated her egg, and it was done in such a way that it did not care for her health. You know, so we need to think about this selfishly. Let's just say we're in a world where everybody's selfish. So think about yourself. Be selfish about yourself. Your health is important. You know, without health, there's nothing else. You're going to school, and if you go to school, learn what you're supposed to learn, get that degree, and then you're now supposed to set out into the world to start achieving other things. But you've lost it because maybe your health is gone, your eggs have been badly harvested in such a way that you're affected for the rest of your life. So it is a serious thing. You just don't do it walking with just carelessly with anyone.
Let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.